Hey y'all, well, here in Northwest Louisiana, it's still cold. The crappie bite is still on, and this is my favorite time of the year to be fishing. But I know without a doubt, summer's still coming. So today, we're going to build us a buzz bait. It's not your everyday ordinary buzz bait. We're going to have some fun with this one. If this is your first time with us, we're glad you found us. If you've seen us before, we're glad you're back. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and leave us a comment. But now, let's get to it. All right, folks, as usual, we'll run through our material list. It looks a little different today than it normally does, but here we go. The first thing we'll start off with is a buzz bait wire mold. Get these from Barlow's, and I'll put a link for all of this in the descriptions below. But this is our buzz bait wire form. And then we're going to connect to that a VMC 7250BN. This is a 2-aught. Also got this from Barlow's. When we get those put together, we're going to pour some lead over it, and we're going to use the Do It Buzz Keel lure mold. This one does a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. And this is the one we'll be using today. We'll be doing a half ounce, not 1/2 inch, 1/2 ounce. I also have one mold just like this that does a 1/8 and a 1/4. Once we get it poured and we get it cleaned up, ready for paint, then we'll start with our paints, obviously. We're going to be using 2 for the body of the buzz bait. We're going to use the watermelon black vein from Barlow's. And then this is also the orange brown vein. It's the same. I just have this one in a container that I use on my fluid bed back there. And which, by the way, back here you see we will be using the fluid bed. And then for our blade on the buzz bait, this is a Protect paint. It's called Magic Craw Purple. So Protect Magic Craw Purple. This watermelon black vein is it's a great paint, has a great look to it. It's a real bright kind of green, well, watermelon, just like it says. But for this build, I wanted it to be a little more dull, more I guess green pumpkin looking, but not just green pumpkin. And so I just started tinkering around with what I have. I'm not affiliated with anybody, don't have any sponsors, so I either have to buy it or come up with it with what I got. So we'll be mixing these 2 paints together, and we'll do that once we get started. So there's nothing else left to talk about, so let's get to it. So the first thing we want to do is get our hook on our wire form. But before I do that, I just want you to notice, see back here, we have our mold sitting up on top of the lead pot. That's heating up our mold, keeping it from being cold and get us a better pour. So we're going to start off, we're going to take our wire form and we're going to put our hook on it. We want to make sure that the upper arm on our buzz bait and the hook point are pointed in the same direction. If we put it on this way, it'll probably still work as a buzz bait, but it's going to hang everything. So we want to make sure that all of this is the hook point is up, this is up, and they're all pointing towards the top arm. So then I'm just going to take a pair of side cutters. I'm going to squeeze it. That's going to secure our hook in there, and it gives us a little bit more room when we're ready to start pouring. So the next thing we're going to do is put it in the mold and put some lead on it. So now we're going to lay it up here on this mold. Now remember, this mold was sitting on top of that lead pot, so it's hot, so be careful. And you may also notice right here, I've just taken another mold and opened it up just to help me hold this in place till I get everything just like I like it. So I want to slide it down just a little. If you notice right here, if you look real close, there's no gap there. There's no room for the lead to come through. So I'm going to slide it down a little more, and I'm going to say that's good right there. You can see there's a small gap all the way around. The lead can come in. My hook is where it needs to be, and so is my arm. So I'm just going to drop a little piece of tape right here. That'll help hold that right where I want it, keep everything in place while I'm closing it. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this end. Just going to put a little piece of tape on it right here. Ooh, that mold's hot. To help hold the hook in. And then all we got to do is close it up. You want to look at the top. It looks like it's good. It's got a good seal here. So we're ready to pour it. All right, so now we're ready to pour it. I got some gloves on because this is hot. I'm going to try to do this and keep my arm out of the way so you can see the actual pour. I'm just going to open it up and let it pour. And now, let's see what we got. That looks pretty good so far. Well, let's pull him out. Now, let's take a look. Oh yeah, we've got a great pour, so all we need to do now is cut the sprue off of it and get it ready for paint. Well, as you can see, I made a few more off camera. I need several of these, but here's one that I left to show y'all how we take the sprue off. First, I just look them over real close, make sure we got a good pour, there's not any voids, and as usual with the Do It molds, it's a great pour. So let's get cutting the sprues off, getting it ready for paint, get this to some music, and y'all sit back and watch. And there we go. We are ready for some paint. Now we're going to start mixing our paint. Like I said earlier, I messed around with this a pretty good bit before I got it like I wanted it. And I'm just putting it in a little plastic container. I guess this is one good thing about being an old man. I seem to have a pretty good supply of these containers. But I went ahead and labeled it so I don't forget what it is later. It's a 2-to-1 mixture. It's 2 of the watermelon black and 1 of the orange. So let's go ahead and mix this up and get this ready to go. Whoop. Wrong one. Here we go. I got a 1/2 teaspoon of this. So I put 3 of these in. And yeah, I got gloves on because I know without a doubt I'm going to have this all over me at some point. So we used a 1/2 teaspoon for the green. Now we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon for the orange brown. That's going to give us our 2-to-1. So we used 3 of the other. So we'll do this 3 times. So now we're just going to give it a good mix here. See if you can see that, and hopefully on the camera you can tell the difference of what we did here. But yeah, you can see that's a big difference, and this is the one that seemed to work out the best. All right, so let's get to it. now that we got it painted. I had to turn that air gun off so it wouldn't be making so much racket. And I really wish I knew more about videoing, because what I'm seeing on the camera and what I'm seeing in person is two different things. And what I'm seeing in person looks awesome. But that's, there we are. Now it just needs to go in the oven, and we'll be ready to put this bad boy together. But real quick, here's the reason for this piece of paper here. It's a lot easier doing this when I'm not reaching around the camera. But I can take that and capture what I lost. All right, we'll get on with it. All right, so now we're going to start with our blade first. And I don't think I mentioned this in the material list, but this is just a blade, a buzzbait blade. Got it from Barlow's. And again, I'll put it in the description. I practiced this a couple of times. It's not easy, but man, does it look good once we get done. So first thing I do, I've got a piece of 1/8 heat shrink tube. I want to put that over the bottom of the bottom part to keep it from building up in the paint in there. And then I took one of my wire forms and made me a hanger. So it takes a few dips, I guess just because this aluminum is so slick, but let's get to paint. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to pull this heat shrink off. I'll hang it right here and let it cool down a little bit, and then we'll get it in the oven. So I have the buzz bait in the clamp ready for the oven, and then I wanted to show you, I just took one of these wire forms, made me a little hanger so I can put it in here too. So let's get it in and get this stuff cooking. And I'm going to leave it in here for about 25 minutes and we'll be good to go. All right, folks. Well, all there is left to do is load our blade up on this bait and get it secured where it won't come off. I've already put a Freakin frog trailer on here. This is pretty much the only way I fish buzz baits anymore. And this is the frog that I use. I pour these using the Epic Bait Molds Freakin frog. This is a color that I used last year and worked extremely well. But the kicker is I'm going to make one that's a little bit different. It's specifically for this buzz bait. And you're going to have to come back to the next video to see that happen. But first of all, we're going to put the blade on. We're going to secure it using one of these rivets. Got this from Barlow's. So let's get her put together and this thing will be finished. Now I'm just going to slide the blade on. Ooh, that hook's sharp. So now that I got the blade on, I'm going to slide my rivet over that arm. We'll make sure the flat part of it is towards the blade itself, so that blade can sit on it and make all kinds of racket. And then we're just going to bend the L in this arm to keep it from running off, and that'll be it. Give it a good bend. And there we go. We have a completed buzzbait. Now I just noticed that this is kind of kicked out to the side. I want to make sure that is pretty much straight in line with that upper arm. That way it won't kick out quite so much grass. There we go. So there is our finished product. Man, it sounds good and it looks good. Well, we've wrapped up another one. We got us a brand new buzz bait. I hope y'all had as much fun watching as I did making it. And if you did, just leave us a comment and give us a like. Come back and join us for the next build. But most important, y'all get to fishing.